Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, my friend. How's your week going so far?
It's going. Can't say it's bad. Can't say it's good. It's going.
You just kind of treading water, right? Till you can catch a wave.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I hear you.
How's your week?
No complaints, man. Everything is pretty good. Let me turn on the streams, make sure we're on deck as far as this goes. Okay, so that's YouTube. Let's go to make sure we're on Facebook. Oh, there you are. Well, it's so funny because every time I do one of these things, my biggest fear is that no one will show up, right?
Nah, no, not with you, man. I'm telling you what. The first time I saw you, I think I had signed up for Astro Flipping.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see you over there all the time.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while. But that's when I first heard your voice.
Okay,
I was in
okay.
one of the meetings, and then I signed up with Claude and Justin, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I know that voice.
And you're like, there he is again, huh?
Yep.
So what kind of challenges have you been dealing with?
My challenges
Or,
are
or
all
is it
sorry.
uh-huh.
My challenges are all me.
Just kind of trying to get through the whole setting your schedule, talking to people, figuring out what markets you're in, that kind of thing, or is it just some emotional stops?
Mental blocks, I guess you could say. Like Lou and I were talking last night. We do role plays on Thursdays and Tuesdays.
Uh-huh.
Talk about what our problems, blocks, and stuff are. I don't have a problem talking to people. I don't have a problem putting a deal together. My
Uh-huh.
problem is actually doing it because, like Lou and I were talking, with the laws changing and all this stuff and all these things that have been put out there, um, in the aspect of wholesaling and assigning contracts and stuff like that, I guess Ohio is cracking down on it in that
Yeah.
sense. So the way this fella states it, he's an investor and a lender. It basically he had a meeting with the Ohio Real Estate Commission people and their attorneys,
Okay.
was pointing out several different things that like you hear these gurus and stuff, just go get it under contract, get it under contract, get it under contract, it doesn't matter, blah. Well,
Right.
according to this little report or whatever blog he put out, if you do that, you get caught, you're toast, because that's you acting as if you are an agent without a license because of the fact that you, like, say you're in a situation where you don't, you put it under contract, you put 10 properties under contract, but you don't put any in your name. They say that's acting as if you are a licensed agent without a license.
Okay, so we actually had this conversation and we did some research yesterday. And welcome everybody. Thanks for showing up. Antonio, Boston, Corey, Ed Klasky, Jerry Smith. Great to see you guys. So we had a conversation and we actually did a little bit of research while we were having the conversation. And when it all really boiled down to it, what the deal was is that one, you can go out there and say that, okay, I am selling a property, right? Like you're never selling a property. You're basically selling a contract or an agreement or an interest in.
Right.
So as long as you disclose everything, right? That's the main crux of everything that we found on our research is that you have to make it clear that one, disclose the fact that you're not a real estate agent. Disclose that like almost immediately. Look, I'm not a real estate agent. I partner with people, and what we do is we make arrangements to see if we can help people out throughout, and we do this throughout the country. and we do it all the time. So, you know, my purpose here is to try to see if I can solve your problem. Okay. If I can solve your problem, what I like to do is put together an agreement between you and I, an agreement that I may or may not exercise myself. Is that okay with you, or maybe not?
Gotcha. Yeah, it's in that wording. The other thing is he was saying that pictures are going to be inadmissible too, like of a property.
In what sense?
Like when you, in the sense of marketing, you know, how
Okay.
somebody market the contract, but
Okay.
they'll also put pictures with it of the interior, the exterior, and stuff like that. I guess that is going to be not allowed, from my understanding. I'm not sure.
This is in Ohio.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. That's a little bit. I don't know how that would even make sense or be enforceable, because even if I'm selling you a contract, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm selling you the terms of the contract. Well, I guess here's what you could do. And as you said that, I was thinking about this. And you guys, please chime in if you have any ideas, thoughts, or experience with what we're talking about. So what Jonathan and I are talking about now is some of the laws that are changing, in a conversation that he had with an attorney in terms of what would be acceptable in contracting these deals and then selling these deals. So, you know, that's a big conversation in the space right now. So we actually had this conversation with the coaching staff yesterday. Justin, Mark, and myself. We were having a conversation, and we did some online research, and, you know, talked about what our experience was. And it really boiled down to the fact that, one, you never advertise that you're selling a property, because you're not necessarily selling a property, and you have to make sure that your wording is accurate. And there's a lot of examples on the internet. If you go onto Facebook and some other spaces right now, you'll see where people are clearly stating that I am not selling a property, I'm selling a contract or an interest in the property that allows you to then market the property. Now, the subsequent question issue that Jonathan brought up was the fact that you are not going to be able to put pictures of that particular property online. So my solution is simple. What I do is I put the pictures into a Google shared drive, right? In my Google Drive. And what I do is I put a link to those pictures on the advertisement. Right? So now I don't have any pictures out there. I'm not, you know, splattering the internet with a picture of somebody's home who I do not control. I simply state, and for you to be able to look, or I simply state that I'm selling a contract or an interest in. And in order for you to see what the interest you're actually looking into, because it wouldn't make any sense if I said, I'm selling you an interest in something and I didn't identify what that something was, right?
Right.
So what I do is I put a link to a contract. Let me see if maybe I can. Well, that one actually has pictures on it because it's my form. But I should have been able to pull up, and I don't want to try to do it while you guys are on here with me, unless I have some time. But basically, it has the property. I have you know, for sale. Here's the price. Here's a description of the asset, and I'm selling an interest in this property because I have a contractual agreement to market the interest that I have in this property, which allows you to then either purchase the property yourself, or, you know, whatever it is that your exit strategy is going to be. But I'm not selling you a property. That has to be two things you have to disclose. I'm not an agent, and I'm not selling a property. Like, disclose, right? And put it in bold if you have to, or whatever. I'm not acting in the capacity of an agent, and I'm not selling you a property. I am selling you an interest I'm selling you a contract that gives you an interest in a property that allows you to, you know, purchase or do whatever you're going to do with this property, but I'm selling you a contract. Right? I'm selling you a contract in which I have a contractual agreement and interest in this contract. not necessarily in this property. And I think the wording has to be, you have to be really careful as far as that's concerned.
Yep.
Right. But at that point, there is no deception. You're not lying. You're not saying, oh, I have a property for sale. Well, you don't. We never really did. Right. We never really did. We never owned the property until we owned the property.
Right.
You know, if you take possession of that property, say subject to, now you can sell the property because now you have an interest in the property contractually and in terms of the title. Right. So if you're on title, there's no more argument.
Right. Yeah, that's basically they're saying what it's going to boil down to is you're going to either have to use transactional or purchase it and then sell it at a later date.
Exactly. Exactly. And that seems to be the overall blanket solution to this problem that seems to be able to solve it everywhere you go. So we should all open transactional funding companies or at least affiliate with some, right? So that we can offer that product. You know, as a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna check on that today because there are companies out there that will, you know, break you off a little chip.
Right. Well, that's how I ended up finding out about this conversation or this information was because I was looking up transactional funding.
Okay.
And I stumbled across this blog. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah.
To the group.
Yeah. So in that case, that would actually solve your problem to some degree. But okay, so did you, in your conversation, did you get to the point, because there is a gap there, right? Between the time that you speak with the home seller, get it under contract, and then go to close. So it implies that now you can't actually market or do anything with that property until after the close.
Right. And that's my understanding.
So excuse me, with that said, transactional funding is not the answer, because transactional funding is only for a day or two, right?
Right.
So
but that would be for your double close or your simultaneous.
It'll be for your double close, but I don't know, does that solve the initial problem, the conversation, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't see that as solving that problem. The problem still exists that you literally can get something under contract and can at that point do nothing about marketing the property itself as a property until after you become an owner.
Correct.
Transfer to me seems to be, up to this point, it's irrelevant, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really about us going out there, getting something under contract and marketing it as if we own it. And that seems to be the biggest hang up, right? Like, you know, somehow we're taking advantage of people. We're talking people into low ball offers. You know, we're doing a disservice to the community and all that, when all the facts and all the evidence are completely opposite of that, right? So, you know, who do we know for sure is behind most of this stuff? National Association of Realtors.
Yep.
The largest lobbying body there is, right? Outside of, you know, maybe tech or pharma.
Right.
Right.
So it's like you're not putting a gun to someone's head and saying, hey, take this lowball offer. They're making that decision on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. The implication is that we're somehow seeking out the lowest level of you know, intellectual individual who has a desperation and a lack of knowledge, and we're going in and we're taking advantage of those people in terms of, you know, what they're being offered and that they're being somehow screwed over. Really?
Right.
It's such a joke, and as soon as you hear it, you already know that there are forces at play that have something to benefit from getting us off the playing field. Right? So we have to overcome that. So it's unless they make every single contract in every single category of business illegal, it's going to be difficult to stop wholesaling as an industry, right? But they will make us jump through some hoops. This being one of them, right? not being able to advertise the property, not being able to put pictures out there, right? So now when I'm talking to you about a property, I'm putting out a written advertisement saying I have a contract for sale in a property in a particular area, no address or anything, but I may put in, I'm definitely going to put in the city or whatever, right? And then I'm going to send them to a private link, which they only can have. They contact me, they say, look, give me some more information on the property you're talking about. Okay, great. Give me your email. And in Google Drive, you can set it up so that the person who can see that file will have to have permission, right? So now everything is secured. You're not out there blanketing. You're not on the MLS. You're not doing anything. It's a transaction between you and two individuals, the person who you contracted with and the person with whom you're trying to dispose of that contract with, right? At any given time. So for the most part, and again, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I only play one on television. That's pretty much meeting all the criteria, because if I have to sell a sofa, right, I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm doing the same thing. If you sell on eBay, what are you doing?
Well, just like your grocery stores and everything else, they're dealing with wholesalers.
Right. Yeah. The difference there is that at the grocery store level that we know, it's retail. And so they already own the product. So it's a little bit different in that regard, right? And that's what they're trying to make us do. Buy the product first and then, do an over-the-counter sale. Mm-hmm. But, we all know that's a politicized scenario that, of course, we'll figure out how to get around all of that and do it in a way that benefits the people that we're trying to help. Because the bottom line is we're out there helping people. We're out there, a lot of these properties that we buy, especially if you're a wholesaler, right? If you're a wholesaler, a lot of the properties that we buy, they need so much work. A realtor is not going to list them anyway. And even if they do, they're not going to market them. They're just going to take the listing and then they're going to try to, introduce it to their investors that they work with on a regular basis, and they're going to, try to get a commission on it at some point or another. Now, this is coming from somebody who's licensed. So I know the game, right? I understand what it is that they're trying to do. They just want to make sure that they can put their hands in their pocket, and they're trying to do it in such a way that they claim, that the client is not protected in any way. What do you mean they're not? How much more protected would they be with a realtor, right? How many realtors do you know who are experts?
I can say, based on my experience, I actually got screwed over by a realtor and the home inspector.
Dude, that story is prevalent throughout the entire space. I know some of the realtors I know are some of the sorriest mugs in the world. Like they don't study their craft. They're not any good. A lot of them are have lived in the community forever. They know a lot of people, so they got their realtor's license. Yep. Right? Like they don't spend the time studying like we do. They go and get their course, and then they go out there and they go to a realtor meeting once a week or whatever, and then they go and figure out how to sign a contract or take it back to their broker and get it filled out, and they make their money. They by no means are experts, nor do they have the particular interest of the homeowner in mind outside of getting them under contract and being able to get in line for the commission. So it's nonsense, but we're at a disadvantage because we're not an organized group.
Yeah, and what it's kind of confusing there, or it's I'm trying to think of what I'm looking for, but contradiction, because the realtors, what do? They market to unsolicited people, correct?
Yep.
So how does it make us, it doesn't make any sense in that aspect.
It doesn't. The only thing that they can claim is that the realtor is held to a particular standard just based on the rules of law, right? The rules of agency.
Right. You can get your license in 2 weeks. I know a girl that did that. Just
It's not difficult. And now, you know, like myself included, I'm just looking to get a license in every market that I'm in.
right.
Just get an out-of-state license in every market that you're in. They're easy to get. The tests are not difficult. And a lot of these schools are basically, they will, like I went to a school, I'll throw the name out there. It's called Real Estate Trainers. And I don't know if there are any place else. Yeah, you're familiar, Jazzo? Yeah, they do a test prep course, right? And in their test prep, they guarantee that if you do the test prep and don't fail, that you just come back and redo the test. But by virtue of that, if you do their test prep, they have like a 95% success rate.
Wow.
Right? Some people are better testers than others. I'm a tester. Like I don't like showing up for class. Give me the book and I'll show up on test day kind of. I got all the way through school and everything like that. So in that regard, for me, it's kind of easy. Other people aren't like that, right? Like not everybody is a tester. I'm a tester. So, you know, you give me the materials and let me prepare for the test and I can pretty much pass the test, right? And they will guarantee you that you will be able to pass the test. And almost every state has that same thing, right? So with that in mind, working backwards, you know, what makes a real estate agent any greater than you?
Oh no.
They pass the test.
Right.
Right? I can pass it. I can pretty much pass. You give me 2 weeks, I can pretty much pass any test. You know, other than, you know, say, you know, some, you know, outlandish, you know, geometrical something or another that, you know, takes years of mathematical training or something, right? Other than that, you know, if they can write in a book, I can probably study it and pass the test type of thing. So it's nothing, but, you know, back to go back to what we have to do is the bottom line is disclose, right? I'm not an agent, right? I don't own the property. I own an interest in the property and I'm selling the interest. The interest allows you to do this, which means to close on the transaction, to resell the interest that you're purchasing from me, but you're not buying a title position. You're not buying you know, any kind of equity in the property. You're not doing any of that. You're buying an interest. And the interest just basically gives you the ability to go out and either close on the transaction yourself or transfer the interest that you have in the form of the permission slip that a contract is to do certain things. Right? Because that's really all it is. It's a permission slip. This hereby authorizes you to either purchase this property at that price or to find somebody to purchase the property at that price. That's it.
Right.
That's the transaction. And as long as you disclose that that is the transaction, you know, I think we'll be okay for a while until they figure out a way to make specifics that we have to adhere to, hide them within something so that they can disclose it to us in court, right? But, you know, we have so many of us and so many of us are really good at this research in terms of, you know, guys out there. You know, you look at a Jerry Norton right now, he is knee deep in everything to do with this conversation. So if you watch his videos and stuff and you watch some of the other guys, Joe McCall is another one, you know, what's his name? Terry. Yeah. And, you know, even, you know, the guys, there's a lot of guys in Arizona, you know, Jamel Damji and, you know, all those guys, everybody's in this conversation right now. So it's not, you know, we'll stay on top of it. We'll figure it out. So anyway, does anybody have any questions, any input, any experience, anything they want to share as far as that goes?
I would only say that if you are going to talk to a real estate attorney, like when I go into a new market,
Yes.
I like to first reach out to either closing attorneys or title companies just to see how up they are with assignment contracts. If it's a title company, then I ask to speak with their actual attorney that's actually involved with closing deals. Because there's a lot of real estate attorneys out there that they're not closing deals. So I only like to deal with the ones that are either closing attorneys or ones that are actually associated with the title company that's actually closing real estate deals.
Okay. Rick, I hardly ever get you to really engage like this, and you always bring so much value. So can you and I do a quick role play? I'll be an attorney and you give me a call right now, and maybe walk us through a couple of the questions that you might want to find out. How do you identify whether or not this guy has any experience or whatever? Can we do something like that? Come on,
Put me
man.
on the spot, huh? I don't really, I'm not sure how much
just
of
a quick role play. You're gonna call me. I'm gonna be an attorney, and you're gonna find out from me, if I'm somebody you even want to work with.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. So you're ringing me, and I'm hello.
Oh, hey, how you doing? I was looking online. This is kind of what I say too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want you to do.
I'm a real estate investor.
Okay.
I'm getting involved with such and such city, and I was looking for some closing attorneys in the area.
Okay.
I found your number and just wanted to reach out to see if you were active with currently closing real estate in that area.
Well, yeah, we have that capacity here in our office. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, is your office familiar with actually doing assignments?
Well, I don't know how many of them we've actually done, but we could probably figure it out.
Gotcha. Well, I did a lot of that. Some are and some aren't. So, with doing assignments, do you have particular paperwork that you like to use, or any type of samples that you could share with me, or could I possibly send you some sample paperwork that I use to do my assignments to see if that's something that you could close a deal with there in your area?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and send me over what you have? I believe my secretary, my closing agent, I believe they have their own contracts, but, I could pass what you have on to them and see if in fact it's something that we can use. I know that we have our own, state approved contracts here, but, I'd love to be able to I'll give you some feedback on whether or not we can use what you have.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I'm doing deals in a few different states, and I always just like to get a good connection with a great closing attorney in office that we can do multiple deals with. But I definitely want to make sure that our paperwork's on the same page, and that, if I need to make some adjustments or whatever, we could still get some deals done. And I'm going to do this as soon as possible. So I'll send that on over, and let's try to touch base sometime tomorrow so we can kind of recap it out.
Oh, that sounds good. Go ahead and send it to me. Do you have my information? Did you get my email and stuff online, or do you need it from me?
Yeah, at that point, I just kind of run over their phone number and email address to confirm, and that's really about it. I mean,
that's my guy. That's exactly what it sounds like, you guys. Thank you so much, Rick. I really, really appreciate that, bro. That's exactly what it sounds like. That's exactly all you do is you're just calling and finding out. If and I didn't want to do this to Rick because he doesn't really like doing this anyway. So I wasn't going to do the jerk attorney or the elusive attorney routine on him like that. But the truth of the matter is that I've especially and this goes back again to another conversation we were having with the coaching staff. There are areas of the country that you're going to call, and if any of you have been on the phones at all, you've had this experience. If you call the East Coast and the West Coast, your conversations sound a little different, right? If you call Boston, let's say, for instance, and get a Boston attorney on the line, guess what? They are going to be direct. Yeah, what can I do for you? Yeah, you got a deal. You could send it over. I'll let you know if I can do it or not. Just real direct and real. They're not trying to share information. If you don't know what you're doing already, and it's like that in California, because in California everybody is an expert, because that's just how we do it over here, right? Like, You know, everybody has $1 million property, so everybody thinks they're a millionaire, right? So it's a different mindset. So the conversation I was having with Rick is a kind of conversation that I have on a regular basis when I'm in the flyover states, right? With the flyover states, the states that don't have the internationals, right? The Midwest, the South, areas like that, where you're going to speak to people and they are friendly and they are helpful. And if they're not, you'll know immediately, right? Like you'll know if they're having a bad day. And then we just basically use our skill set to get what we want when we want it. And that's why
I never want to be, I never want to be there first. You know what I mean? So
okay, good.
I always like to, just basically ask them, do you do assignments? That's kind of a yes or no type of thing. If it's a no, then that conversation is done. Then I go, hey, you know what? Thanks so much for your time. Do you have any associates that you know that do that maybe you could connect me with?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a yes or no. Yes, they do. What forms do you need? How many have you done? And carry on. If not, who do you know? And roll right on. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a two-prong approach. Whatever I'm looking for, I go to the local groups on Facebook, ask a question, and usually I get a response. And then basically, like y'all did with the back and forth, you got to interview the your prospective person that you're going to hire.
Okay.
And you're right about Pennsylvania, New Jersey. You call that, if you get a recommendation of a title company that's investor friendly, you call them, you tell them what you're doing. The first thing out of their mouth is send your contract. You got a signed contract, send it.
Send it. Yeah, they don't have no time to small talk. They have no interest whatsoever in training you in how to do it. They have zero time to give you any free advice or information. Like zero. Like they won't even entertain it. So understand that when you go into that environment, come with your gun loaded. Come ready to give them what it is that they need. If you don't know what it is, just do a couple of phone calls into that area. You'll figure it out real quick because they'll tell you.
And what Rick said is really true. When you're dealing with people who are investor friendly, they did it 1,000 times and it'll go nice and smooth. And smooth.
Yeah, investor friendly. Thank you for that, Vernon. Really appreciate your input, my friend. Investor friendly is not just a catchphrase. Like investor friendly really means that these people have worked with investors, understand the investor climate, and the best of all worlds is that they're investors themselves. Right? And you'll find them. There'll be people out there, agents, attorneys. A lot of these people are actually investors themselves. And if they're investors themselves, oh man, now you want to make sure that you solidify that relationship because you speak the same conversation. And in many cases, it hasn't happened to me, I'll be honest with you, but I do know of people who have actually done deals with their particular, attorneys or got referrals from people within their circle that they were able to close deals with, or at least get referred out to people that they could close deals with. Right? So there's an opportunity there. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for your input. Really, really appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions, any input, any role play scenarios that we can work through?
Hi, everybody. My name is Alex Ski, and
hey, Alex, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the call, man.
Thank you. I'm new to the group and with Claude. Working with him. So this is my first Wednesday. I'm glad to be able to listen in and hopefully I'll start role playing as well with you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry for being late, I did get a little bit of your information talking about real estate agents. I'm a realtor in San Diego.
Okay.
I've been for a little while, but I also do want to start doing investments here in San Diego. Although the prices are super high, it's kind of hard to make the numbers work. It seems.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to make the numbers work because, like you said, of the price point. So part of what we look for when we invest. And literally, whenever we look for markets, if you're not doing this, you should be doing this. When you go into a market, there is a relationship between price to rents, right? There's a ratio that exists there, right? There, does everyone know what the 1% rule is? Alex?
No, sorry.
Okay, so Alex, so here's the deal. In San Diego, it's going to be very difficult to meet the 1% rule. And the 1% rule is this: for every 100,000 that I pay, for instance, I need to have $1,000 worth of income for it. Right?
Okay.
So that's why in our investing conversations, we talk about bread and butter, and we talk about a particular price point. Our price point tends to be someplace between 100,000 and 350,000, because oftentimes you can meet the 1% rule in that environment.
Yeah, I actually did try to do an investment in North Carolina.
Okay.
It did meet that rule. So I think that's something that I'm trying to branch out of San Diego because of the prices here.
Absolutely. So I'm in California as well. I live up in Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay.
You know, in the San Bernardino County. The advantage that we have in California, and we kind of have to throw the ARV percentage, the 1% rule, they kind of go out the window in our market because of the price points. So when we look at investments in our market, what we're looking for more than anything is the spread. See, because in California and in some parts of the East Coast or whatever, you can buy a property for $1 million and still make money.
Yeah.
Because you can sell the property for $1.6 million. Right? So nobody's going to argue with that spread in between. You know, you still have 600,000 or whatever, but it doesn't meet any of the rules.
Yeah, I got an investment group that I'm following right now. They bought a house down the street from where I live for 900,000 and sold it for 1.2.
Exactly.
In 1 month.
In 1 month. In 1 month. Yeah. So that's the game we play in the high markets, in the expensive markets. And we also have the advantage in California and in many other states. I prefer to deal in title states, in states that use title companies and escrow closings. Preferred. Yeah. Which doesn't mean I won't deal with attorneys and everything. But when I deal with attorneys, I find that there's a few more challenges, including timelines, including trying to get them on the phone, including trying to get them, you know, like their operation tends to be a bit, you know, smaller. And, you know, I just closed a deal in the flyover state of Iowa. And it literally took 3 months to close the deal. With phone calls and they're not in today and they're out with this and, you know, they're in a closing so they can't speak to, oh my God. When you deal with title company and escrow companies, you tend not to deal with that because of staffing. Right? Like the title company, you know, it's a 9-to-5 job. You don't show up, your ass gonna be fired. Yeah. Where small towns, their office environment tends to be like, oh no, Ellen had to take her kid to.
Yeah. Well, the closing company that I dealt with was great. And you know, you could always get them on the phone, although it was like always somebody else. It was never the closing.
Exactly.
The
exactly.
lawyer.
Yeah. Yes. It's never the lawyer. The lawyer in most of these transactions will only be the signator. He'll be the one whose name will be on the line. So he will, you know, you won't deal with them at all. You'll only see their name on the marquee and on your contract. Yeah. You know, and the rest of the time you're going to just be dealing with, you know, their staff. So where are you working at now? Where are you marketing right now? What kind of stuff and what kind of strategies are you focused on?
Right now, I'm looking at properties that are in distress, fixers,
Okay.
do fix and flip.
Oh, you looking to wholesale?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
looking to find properties, at a substantial discount. And right now you're realizing that the discount, the 60% of ARV is probably not valid right now because
No.
of what's happening with material costs.
Oh, especially, yeah. So
But not only material costs, but
just labor cost. I mean, labor costs
exactly. That's exactly where I was going. Labor costs and material costs right now are they're skewing our numbers, you guys.
Yeah.
So when you're negotiating these deals, I would love to be able to do it at that price, but understand that right now, with material costs and labor costs and everything, Mr. Seller, that unfortunately I can't do it at that price point because and I know that the house just needs a little bit of work, and that's probably why you haven't been able to list it. But I can do it at this number. And you need to know what that number is. And obviously the lower percentage that you can get based on a fully renovated ARV, and ideally you have ARVs that you can pull from to see that it's occurred in that market. Otherwise, it's an uphill climb.
Yeah,
I talk about this a lot where, you can't be one off in this industry and expect to survive.
sellers look at Zillow and think that's their sales price, even though they have a junker.
Even though they have a junker, right? So, that conversation is, and if you want, we can do a quick little, generic role play. I'll be the buyer and let's say that you're the seller, right? And
Sure.
You believe, and we're going to, let's say the property is worth, the ARV fully renovated 2021 standards is 200,000, let's
Okay.
say, right?
Right.
And, you're trying to sell the property and, it needs some work, but, you're obviously delusional about how much work it needs. You think it needs about $10,000 worth of work, right? And so let's say
that number really isn't realistic in my area, but I mean, even the worst case scenario for a house value is like about $500,000.
Yeah, that's in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna assume that it's a middle America home,
Sure.
with a bread and butter value of let's say $250,000, right?
And that's fine. That's what I'm looking at in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah. So now you and I, I'm giving you a call, and we've had one conversation, and I give you a call back, and so ring.
Hello.
Hey, Alex, how you doing? This is Victor.
Hi, Victor.
Hey, how you doing? So, I was did some due diligence on the property that you and I talked about on
Yeah.
Main Street. So, I know that right now you're asking, $190,000 for this property. And it looks to me like, it needs quite a bit of work.
Yeah, Victor. I mean, I've been working on it as well. So I think I can get the 190,000. I got some people already been calling me as well, for my Craigslist ad.
Oh, got it. So has anybody visited the property and actually, seen what work needs to be done?
I had one guy over and,
Uh-huh.
He looks pretty interested.
Okay. Do you have an offer on the table?
No, not yet.
If I could give you an offer that makes sense to you today, is there something we can do or maybe not? Or are we gonna, wait to see how many offers we receive? Because last I talked to you, it sounded like it was kind of urgent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to come to this house too often because I live in another part of the county and it's just difficult for me to come and work on it on weekends.
Yeah. So how often do you have to come down to the property?
Well, I mean, I didn't come this month, but I plan to do it next month.
And how long does that normally take you to, get to the property, do your arrangements and get back to your home?
Yeah, well, I live 6 hours away, so
Wow.
it's a distance for me. So I usually come just for the weekend, stay, work on the house.
How long do you
I
want to keep
just-
doing? How long do you want to keep doing that?
Well, no, that's why I'm waiting for an offer, you know.
Got it,
hopefully-
got it.
hopefully I can get something soon.
Okay, so if I could answer all of your needs today, and you and I can come to an agreement, is this something we can put on paper today, or maybe not?
Well, today, well, are you planning to come over? 'Cause I'm not at the property today.
Yeah, not a problem. What I want to talk to you about today are the actual numbers and a little bit of research that I've done.
Okay.
But at the end of this conversation, I'd like to put something on the table. And, you know, if I answer all your questions and put something on the table that agrees with everything we talked about, is this something that we can consummate today? I know you've been having this conversation about waiting on people. So I'm hearing two things. One is, you know, I can wait, I have time. And then I'm hearing another conversation about, well, you know, I'm traveling and I don't have a offer on the table as we speak. So what I'd like to do today is get this handled, put you in a position where starting tomorrow, we're moving forward to the close.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah.
That sounds good?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so let's talk about the value on the property.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
so I did a little bit of research, and you know, you sent me the pictures, and I appreciate that. So I'm looking at, you know, it's probably going to need. I'm going to have to redo this entire kitchen. It definitely going to have to redo the kitchen floors, the bathroom, you know, and bring them up to date. And you said that you got your value from some other homes in the area. Did you actually go into those homes, or you know, how did you come about that value?
Well, I know I saw one of the houses that sold here on Craig's on Zillow, and
Yeah.
it's right down the street from me.
Okay, but you haven't been inside the house, or did you see the pictures?
I saw the pictures.
Okay, and your house looks equivalent to that house?
I mean, no, I mean they did some work to it. I understood, and that's why I kind of adjusted my price. I didn't go, you know, the 210 that one sold for, but
Okay,
that's
so
why I put 290.
so
190.
I'm going to ask you a question. This may sound like a strange question to you, but your answer is gonna tell us a lot, right? When's the
Okay.
last time you were in Home Depot
Well,
or
yeah,
Lowe's or any other one of the building product places?
yeah. I went to Lowe's this weekend.
Okay, and what did you shop for?
Well, I had to get some paint and some supplies for
Okay.
for the kitchen.
Have you ever done that before?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Well, I was here last month, and it seems like everything seems to be going up.
My point exactly. So here's what we're running into in my business, right? So if you do a basic Google search, you'll find that actual material costs have increased about 150% over the last 18 months. So everything that was costing a particular price point back then. So let's say that to repair your property is 10,000, right?
Mhm.
Was 10,000, you know, 18 months ago. How much do you think that same repair costs now?
Gee, I don't know. But I imagine it went up a little bit.
Yeah. And so that's the challenge that I'm having with pricing the property. And that's probably why you haven't received the offers that you've been waiting on. Is because once everybody does their due diligence and looks at the cost of materials, if they don't already have them in storage, warehoused, they're looking at going out and buying new materials today. So here's what we're running across in my business is that the $10,000 bathroom from a year and a half ago is now 25,000.
Wow.
That's why you haven't received that's why they haven't called you back and made you an offer yet. Is because
Okay.
we're running into cost overruns that are absolutely putting a kibosh. I don't know what that word means, but it sounds cool. On prices, right? So with that said, if I was to walk up to you right now and I was to, you know, open up a briefcase with 150,000 and I pay all the costs and you walk away with every bit of that cash, is that something we can do or maybe not?
150,000.
Understand that, you know, right now,
Yeah.
the repairs on your property, I estimate to be almost 100,000 just based on cost overruns. And timelines, because contractors are busy, and it's probably going to sit a while before we can even get somebody in there. And I'm
Yeah.
just trying to be real honest with you about what it looks like to do something like this.
Okay. Well, you sound like someone that's knowledgeable. Obviously, I saw that the cost went up, but
Yeah.
so is there something that we could do? Maybe work something in the middle, maybe like 175.
175.
Yeah.
That's 175. Give me just a second. I'm just running over some numbers real quick.
Okay.
Okay, 175 is like right at the edge of my, you know, possibly losing money on the. I'll tell you what. If I send you a contract over right now, at 165, can we go ahead and lock this in today?
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I really don't want to have to come back over here next week and work on this house.
Yeah, I'll get everything together for you right now. I'll get it into your email. You can look over it, but assuming that everything that you and I talked about, the price, everything is exactly as we described, what happens next?
What do you mean? I mean,
When I call you back after I've sent you over the agreement, assuming that everything is in there as we said, what happens next?
No, you got yourself a deal. We're gonna close this. I mean, we're gonna sell this house to you.
Okay, all right. So we're going to move forward, and I don't have to worry about it. And you're not going to ghost me or anything like that, right? You're going to be on the up and up with me. And you know, I get it. You have a lot of opportunities. There's some other offers and stuff, but all I ask basically is, you know, if it's not something you want to do, let me know. But let's make a decision and have it, you know, carved into stone when you and I speak again in 2 hours. That sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay, you sound like a man of your word. I am completely, you know, I know that you're going to do exactly what you said because you have done up to this point, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time and also, you know, understanding the situation. Thank you so much, Alex. I'll get that over to you right now, and I will follow up with you in 2 hours, and let's make a deal.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Alex. That was good, man. So
wow,
okay.
Victor, man, you're awesome. I love that last part, the last close. I mean, you confirmed that you had the sale. I mean, I tend to forget that part. I'm so excited when they say yes, and all right, well, I'll close it, and then they get buyer's remorse or seller's remorse. You know, like
exactly. And so the reason why I wanted to paint the picture for you is I wanted to walk you into the experience of having walked into Claude. Thank you, Claude. I wanted to walk you through the experience of seeing those prices for yourself.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
So you didn't have to take my word for those prices, right? Like you didn't have to, like I didn't say to you, well, you know, prices in our industry have gone up 150%. No, I don't have to explain that to you because most people who own a house have been in Lowe's or one of these other, you know, Home Depot or whatever in the last 18 months trying to buy some shit and realize, oh my God, I paid $4 for a 2x4 a year and a half ago when I was, you know, fixing up my office or whatever. You know, now that same 2x4 is $14. Well, now you and I are related now because you get what my cost and anybody else's cost who's going to do this deal. And then I also wanted to tie it back into, that's why they're not calling you back. They're not going to call you back at that price point. They're trying to make you sweat. Now, do you want to do a deal today or don't you? Yeah. And I wanted you to be present to the fact that you have to drive now 6 hours again, month after month after month, instead of just having $150,000 of cash in your pocket and walking the hell away from this.
Yeah, I lost a deal like that. I was gonna buy a house and flip it, and the guy just wouldn't budge on his price.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, when we do role play using the guts method, one of the things, and this is true in all sales, right? If you put it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being let's do this right now. Where's the pen? Where's the contract? Let's sign, right? Deals don't occur at less than 8. If you're not at least an 8 motivation, if you don't at least get into your mind that this is absolutely something that has to happen for me, and that I have enough, pain, either the desire to avoid pain or the desire to have gain present to me at a level of 8, 9, or 10, everything else is just a conversation and a possibility and a thought and a great idea. Distinct from, let's close this right now and get me out this damn situation. I have other things I need to do and I need this money. Right? So as investors, our job is simple. We're always buying motivation. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. The house doesn't matter. The location, doesn't matter. Well, it does in the overall scheme of things. But until you get somebody on the phone that has a motivation, nothing else freaking matters. You're not going to talk like, are you a homeowner, Alex, or have you ever been?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody that can talk you out of your house?
Oh, no.
Hell no. Nobody can talk somebody out of a house. And a lot of times you get this impression that because somebody says yes, or they have some sort of need or whatever, that you're going to somehow talk them out of their house. Nobody talks a person out of their home, period. It doesn't happen. They have to have a reason, or they have to have a reason, and your job is to identify the reason and raise the awareness / pain level of that reason. Right? That's it. If they have too many options, guess what? They're not a 10. They slide down to 5 or 6 because they have options. As long as they have a bunch of options, that's not your guy, at least not yet. That's a follow-up guy, which doesn't mean that the deal won't happen, but it's probably not going to happen today. Right? Mm-hmm. Like if you go out to buy tires, and I think about it this way, right? If you go out to buy tires, but you still have some good meat on the ones you have, but it's tire time, right? And you go into a couple of different tire shops, and you're looking at prices and stuff like that, right? The only thing that's going to actually move you to make a deal is if you get this ridiculous price that just absolutely blows you out the water. Other than that, your motivation is, assuming everybody's prices are the same, you're like, okay, I still have some time. I'm not down to the steel belt yet, right? So
I mean, if you're or if you're already shopping, then this should not be your motivation. I mean, can't you take it from there?
Well, I go shopping and I just shop. Shopping is not buying, right? Shopping is shopping. If I'm going shopping, if like here in my area, I have I have like Target, I have Kohl's, I have Walmart, I have Old Navy, you know what I'm saying? And if I need something, I'm gonna shop until I find the thing that I need at the price that I want on my terms, and that just absolutely jumps out and speaks to me. So I still have options, right?
Right.
What happens if I have to be at the event at 6 o'clock and it's 5:30?
When you have no option.
I don't go shopping, I go buying,
Yeah.
right? That's the distinction. At 5:30, there's no time to shop. My need is at an all-time high. I can't shop, and you've all done it. You've all waited till the last minute, and you run into a store and you pray to God that they got it, that they have it. Thanks, Claude, for showing up, buddy. Appreciate it. Claude dipped in for a while. He says he has to go.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. You know, we want that guy who is getting ready to be late for the wedding, and his ass needs to sell this deal. That's the ideal scenario. Now, what we do with our skill set is move them from 7 to 8, 9, 10. But what I've found, and all of you can probably attest to this that have been on the phone, you don't move somebody from 3 to 8. You just don't. At 3, you gather information, you identify needs and greeds, and you follow up till they are automatically, due to circumstance, moved towards a 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, you can nudge into 8, 9, 10. 5, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. That's a 3-minute qualifier, and get the hell off the phone. Decide if you're going to put them in your follow-up campaign. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be rude or anything, but you just like try to get off the phone already.
Well, as you hang out enough, and you'll see with Claude. Claude has a 3-minute timer. We use it here in the Wholesalers Club as well. It's a 3-minute timer, and that 3-minute timer is a qualifying time. It's not to be off the phone if they're qualified. You know, you want to lock it in if they're qualified. But within 3 minutes, you should be, adept enough to answer the questions that need to be asked. The questions need to be asked, and identify a motivation level on a scale of 1 to 10, and determine whether or not you're going to spend your 4th minute with this person. It's that simple, because you have to protect yourself. And again, going back to some of the training, and this is a role play training. Going back to the training, our job is to make money today. So and also, to add to that, is to protect our mental state when we're on these phones with these people. Because if you allow them to beat you up, you will be out of this game.
Yeah, it's hard to recover.
It's hard to recover. You know what I'm saying? That's like taking a Rocky shot. Boom. You keep taking enough of those shots, you're not getting up off the mat. And what you'll find is that day after day, you're less inspired, you're less willing to get on the phone, you're less motivated, you're making more excuses. Right? We have to protect ourselves against that. And that's one of the main reasons for that 3-minute qualifier, is to protect you from allowing somebody to step into your dream and start, stomping on it without your permission. You gotta have my permission to steal my dream, and I'm never going to give it to you.
Okay, makes
Make
sense.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, we're at 11:04. Alex, first time in, knocked it out the park, my friend.
Yeah,
You're the man.
Thank you, man. You're awesome.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate
Hope
that.
to meet everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for bringing the noise. Everybody else who's on here, Jonathan, thanks for opening us up, man, with a great conversation, and always appreciate your input. Jazzo, you're always there inspiring with your little support, and I really appreciate that. As a speaker, you always want support. And Rick Gentry, man, I know you was outside the box today, my friend, coming in, bringing the noise, and you always appreciate it. That's my guy. He's right here in California with me. So really appreciate that. Ed Klasky, Antonio, Corey, Jerry Smith, Muhammad, Rick, Vernon, thank you for your input as well, my friend. Always appreciated. Wei Lin, you guys are so awesome, and we'll do it again next week. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Otherwise, you guys, let's do it next week again, man. Appreciate all of you. Love you guys. Let's go make some money.
Thanks,
Victor,
Victor.
can I-
For you, Victor.
Can I get a
You got-
recording?
Thanks, man.
There, you guys. The recording is going to be posted.
Cool.
Vic?
Thank you.
All
Victor,
right.
Victor,
Some-
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. I got a guy that just sent me back a contract that I sent to him, and he wants to know if I have any references and or a website.
Okay. So you everybody's gone now. I wish you would have asked that question.
I'm
so
still
people-
here.
but it's being
Oh, yeah,
recorded. So
I want to hear it too.
we're
I'm
good.
still here.
Okay, so he said, I'm still here.
Mhm.
Corey, all right, my man. Okay, so let's do the role play. So Ed,
Okay.
I'll be the buyer.
Okay.
Or yeah, I'll be the buyer and you be the homeowner. Okay. Hello, is this Ed?
Yeah.
Hey Ed, Victor. I was just following up on our conversation. You said that you were interested in selling your property, but you had some concerns.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if you have any references I can follow up with.
Okay, I can appreciate that. That makes absolute sense. And if I provide you with the references you're looking for, what happens next?
We would probably, upon their responses, move forward if it's positive.
Probably.
Well, that's why I'm calling the references. I don't know. I can't give you an answer until I speak to them.
Okay, and tell me, let me ask you, what are you looking for in terms of reference? Understand that all I'm doing is buying your property. So what do you know from me? What do you need to know from my references?
I just want to confirm that you're
That I'm a
able
real
to,
person?
do what you say you're going to do. I don't want to hold off my property and give up another 2 months of rent and hold it off the market if you're not able to get it done. So
Man, I can absolutely appreciate that. That is a great point. You're obviously a very intelligent person. Now, have you gone through this process before?
yes, I've got multiple properties.
You've got multiple properties, and it sounds like there's a reason why you're asking this question. If you don't mind, what's your reason? What has been your experience that can be resolved by references in a transaction like this?
Well, I guess, we are, talking a little overpriced on the property at this point. So there's that situation. And I just want to make sure you're okay with that. And then I just
A little
wanna
bit. We're a little bit overpriced.
yeah, we're asking, for 100 and I've offered you 113,000 for it. And it's showing 94,000 on this estimate.
Oh, got it. And you're wondering, so what is your real concern? Because you know what, I've
If
had
you're
this question.
My real question is, are you legitimate? Can you, keep me from keeping
I
my
perform?
property off the market?
Can I perform?
Yeah.
Okay. And so do you think your references would allow you to know if I can perform?
Well, that would show me that you've got a track record. I don't know anything about you. You don't have a website. You don't have anything for me to follow up on.
Oh,
So
got it,
I
got
don't really
it,
know
got
who
it.
you are.
Okay, so I'm gonna debunk the website myth real quick, right? You know how long it takes to make a website?
Short
Okay.
time.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off the table like no value, right? Like I could literally make a call right now, create a website, and tell you everything that you want to do, but I respect you more than that.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not going to do that for you. But what I would like to do is I'd like to get you over an agreement. If everything on the agreement is exactly as we talked about, and I provide you those references, what happens next?
We would move forward. I'll sign that paperwork.
Okay, so I have your commitment that if I get this over to you with, the name of a couple of references and whatnot, and everything agrees with you, that we will absolutely be moving forward on this deal as described. Do I have your word on that?
You do.
Okay, great. So I'll get this over to you right now. And I will follow up with you in a couple of hours to make sure that you have everything, that everything meets your needs. And then I'll look to move forward with you. That's where we're going, right? Correct?
That sounds good.
All right, perfect. All right. So I will get that together and I will get that over to you in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right. And I'll follow up with you in about 2 hours. All right. Ed, I look forward to getting this deal done with you, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the follow-up.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Victor,
Huh?
I don't mean to cut you off, but
No.
as a newbie who hasn't made a sale, flip, or nothing, what references would you send?
You're in a club.
Cool. So I can utilize my club
You can
participants.
utilize
my
any of
friends.
us. Yeah, you can
Okay.
utilize any of us. You have all of our support. You have all our contact information. You know, you can use any one of, especially any of the coaches, or me or Justin, or most anybody here that has any experience. You can use us as far as references go.
Okay, just tell them that, hey, these are my partners. Here are their references. Check
Well,
this
yeah,
out. This
well,
is what I
you
work
can
with.
say, yeah, these are people that I've worked with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
These
Cool.
are people that I work with. Notice I didn't even entertain the website shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Website, really? Come
Mm.
on. How many websites do you think are out there that are 100% honest?
Yeah.
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 Fuck out of here. I ain't no website.
That's right.
Website.
That's
They're
right.
like resumes. They tell you everything you want to hear.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. They're resumes. I can put one up right now and tell you everything you want to know. And does that mean that we're going to close the deal? And does that improve my integrity? No. Get out of here with the website shit. But I will send you some names.
Okay. That's a good one.
I love the tie down. Thank you very much. That is just
Yeah.
once again just clutch cargo there. That just makes complete sense. Okay, if this is what you want, are we going to be? What happens when I send?
What
it to you?
happens next?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
don't yank my chain. I'm not going to send you a bunch of shit and then you're going to just run around showing my references to your classmates or whatever it is you're going to do with them.
Yeah.
I'll send them to you as part of the agreement. And if those things meet your needs, what happens next?
Make me want to gut some and say, you know what I mean? What
what's
the
up,
fuck is
Corey?
that? Yeah,
Right.
man.
Just so
I
you
guess
have
you really
questions.
got to ask them. Why are you asking for references? You got to give you
Exactly.
a reason for it, right?
Yeah, fine.
You ask everybody.
There's
who's
a reason
buying
why
the
you're asking. There's a reason you're asking me that question. Do you mind telling me why?
house. Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you get screwed over by somebody before who didn't have references? Get the hell out of here.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yeah.
has that. It's just a pat answer. It's just an answer that people think is the right question to ask. It's like, when was the last time you were screwed over because they didn't have references? They don't have an answer to that.
Hey Vic, I got another scenario, a quick question maybe you can help me with.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can help me with because you're experienced. I got a guy who's motivated. I talked to him about a lease option situation and he's motivated, but
Yeah.
I found his listing through a Craigslist scrape and he has an agent. So his home is actually on Zillow and Craigslist with an agent. How do I approach him, even though he sounds like he's motivated to do the deal? He's advertising that he's selling it, but he's also advertising that he will do seller finance. So in a situation like that, do I talk directly to him if I can, or the
I will talk to
realtor?
him first, and then he's probably going to refer you over to the agent.
Okay.
But I will talk to him first regarding what would be his terms on a seller finance deal, and most importantly, how does he see the agent being paid on this? Because he'll tell you, well, I have an agreement with the agent that if I find my own buyer, he'll tell you all of that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
agent may not be relevant, but you need to find out from the seller the significance that the agent holds in this transaction. And if the agent does hold any real significant role in this transaction, then the agent is going to be paid out of whatever price you put out there. He's not your responsibility to pay per se, unless you have to involve him in the transaction and negotiate their commission. In other words, would you be okay if I relisted this property with you and you were to pay both sides of the commission on the back end? Is that something we can do, or maybe not?
So if I talk to the realtor, I'll ask them or offer them if they can relist it and make commissions on both sides as
on the back end
with the seller and on the back end. Okay.
Yeah, find out from the seller first. What are the terms of the contract?
Okay.
And the agreement, and when it expires, because you may just be able to wait it out if it's only a week or two.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
The agent may not even be able to do that. So keep that in mind.
In terms of what, Rick?
Representing both
lending.
sides.
Represent both sides?
Is that a
Yeah,
conflict
some
of
brokers.
interest?
Yeah, some brokers, man.
Yep.
I've come across that where have seen brokers not allow that in their brokerage. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So
In California.
it's room for open conversation for sure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So,
Victor,
yeah.
I had a thought and a proposal for next week's role play real quick.
Okay.
Pardon me, as veterans, I can't, my debt and my gratitude to the gut system and Claude is beyond words. But when, as a broker who's been in it and has had, dozens of agents on staff at one time, maybe we could do a little role play on that phone call from the DRE. There's been a complaint. I'm investigator Jazo.
Okay.
I'd like to go over a couple things with you, sir.
Okay.
Maybe,
Yeah, let's
and let me,
do
and
next
for the
week.
sake
I'll
of
do
full
it.
disclosure, it is not legal advice. We're not looking to do legal advice. We just want to maybe
Right. Kind of see what that conversation may look like.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
do it. Let's
how-
do it next week. Pull my coattail on it.
cool.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's see if we can, gain some value for that for everybody and let everybody, pitch in. I know Rick, you notice he pops in there with some real good experience because he's also licensed.
Mhm.
I don't know how much actual license activity he does, but he stays on top of the, the bylaws in terms of being a licensee and some of the rules and stuff like that. So he's always got some really good input and
Practice,
stuff. So,
like talking to a cop at a traffic stop. They're just things you don't want to do. You want to stay cool
exactly.
and-
There's just things you want to avoid.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, guys.
All right, man.
Let's go to work. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Vic.
All right.
Have
Take
a
care.
good day.
All right. Thanks for everybody.